Welcome to another episode of
KOTOT,
keeping on top of things. Today, guys, I've got a special treat for you. I've got my big sister, Hazvi, on the on the sofa. And
could be on the table if you want me to.
We could be. Whoa. What table?
Wow.
And where?
At the boardroom table, sister.
Even still. Remember 50 Shades?
Oh gosh. Oh god. Oh dear.
Anyways.
Another sip to that.
So I've got my sister on the sofa today.
Hi.
And she has paved the way. Some of the lessons that I've learned around motherhood have come through you. So
You're too kind.
today you're going to be imparting your wisdom. So shall we start with you just telling us a little bit about how she is as a mom? How many babies do we have? Some of them not babies anymore, but we've got them.
They're still babies in my eyes, but they will claim they're not babies.
Yeah.
So as a mom, I'm a mom. I've had 4 children.
Yeah.
3 of them are with us, like alive.
Yeah.
I lost one of the 4. Yeah, it's one of those. I'm sure most moms have got a journey in a blip. The eldest is actually 23. Do I look like I have a 23-year-old?
No. Do you know that I always forget?
Yeah.
I'm like,
my
what?
eldest is
He's
a proper man
23?
with hair up to here and a full beard. Yeah. So I've got a 23-year-old, got a 16-year-old, and then I've got my beautiful toddler who's toddlering. So
Who's toddlering?
Yeah, he's toddlering around the house.
Yeah. She is here, by the way, so most likely you will hear her. She will come and join us whenever she feels like joining us, which is fine.
Which is great.
Podcast about motherhood, so
we're
going to have babies.
We can show we actually are mums. We're not making a claim.
We're not making it up.
There's a baby, a real life baby, not hired, a real baby. You can hear in the background.
Yeah, bless her. She's so occupied though.
She's such a busy boy.
Literally.
Yeah. So that's why I'm as a mum.
Yeah.
And over and above that, I'm a career lady. So I've got so many hats I wear. One of those is this, which I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Sorry to kind of get into your show with Jumbo.
It's fine.
Look it up, guys. You gotta be in the know to know what it is.
I'll link it in the show notes.
Link it in. Sorry to just kind of put it in there. But that's who I am.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Tita. And yeah, happy mom of 3 and a wonderful wife. I will say that on behalf of my husband.
Yeah.
Fantastic sister.
Yes.
Perfect daughter. Like, where do I stop? That's who I am. And I think my friends will say an amazing friend. Tenda, you better testify to that.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Yeah.
Your character, just in general, and people will probably see the vibe, just your face.
Yeah.
You've just got a countenance that's friendly and open.
Oh, well, thank you.
And some of us are learning to get there.
You're great. I think
I'm getting there.
Yourself short. You're great.
Oh, thank you. But I know I'm not 100% perfect, and there's things that I can learn.
Comes with age. It'll just come. It'll come like a breeze. It just comes.
Yeah.
I was never this person with the continence of welcoming. I was always like, "What are you doing? Who are you watching?" Like
you saw me grow up.
Yeah. And I used to think, "God, you're serious," but. And your mum always used to say, "You're exactly like her." I was like, "No, mum, no, I'm not like that one. Of all the other kids you have, not that child." But funny enough, we've got a lot of synergies.
Yeah, we do. And I think motherhood. Well, you know, motherhood changed me, changed my outlook on life, changed my outlook on people, changed my outlook on a lot of things because priorities shift.
Yeah.
And then the things I used to think were important, or relationships that I used to put on a pedestal, or people's behaviours and all of that, you kind of go,
really,
it's really not that deep.
Absolutely. You reflect and you see life for what it is when you're a mum.
Yeah.
You kind of know, okay, it doesn't matter. There's a bit of a mess there. There's a bit of this there. You know, it's not going to hurt anyone. Let it go. So yeah,
it comes with it. So today's episode, I personally wanted to have you here because you have a story to share that I have personally learnt from, and I think a lot of people can benefit from actually hearing some of the realities of the things that women go through on their journey to become mothers, sometimes when they're mothers and sometimes when they're just starting afresh. And a lot of times these things are not brought to the forefront, and a lot of women just deal with it by themselves. So just a disclaimer to everybody, we're going to be talking about trauma in
sensitive stuff,
very sensitive
Get
stuff.
your tissue boxes out.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Chocolate.
Guys, and you guys know that I'm pregnant, so if I cry,
We'll blame
it's
it
the
on
hormones.
Not the content. It's the body doing its thing.
It's the body just
But
doing
if you're
its
crying
thing.
while you're watching, it's probably your hormones too.
Yeah. It's fine. It's most likely the content. We're going to be talking about trauma in motherhood, trauma in pregnancy, trauma in childbirth, all of those kinds of sensitive things. Hi, sweetie. So I will also link some support for everybody in the show notes as well. So if anybody needs some support or some help or anywhere to go for an outlet for support, then that will be there. So trauma, I feel like it's something that a lot of women go through. Sometimes they don't even know that they've had trauma in childbirth because it's such a lonely experience a lot of the times. So I'll be keen to hear your story.
I think it's such a thank you for having me over and having this point to talk about. Funny enough, I've been asked to do this sort of thing a few times in the past. I must read trauma everywhere.
No, you don't.
I've recorded for the NHS, the Northampton mental health team, the perinatal team. I've done some shoots for them. So on their website, if you go, you'll see a lot of stuff of me and Tira. I've done stuff for ITV as well regarding trauma. So here I am at KOTOT. Like it must be the thing. God is showing me a path.
I'll find all the episodes and link them in the show notes as well.
Fantastic. People can watch. I mean, I think pregnancy on its own is a journey that's traumatic. Let's just put it on the table. I mean, people want to make it like, oh my gosh, it's fantastic.
You've got the glow.
All the beauty stuff comes.
of women have good pregnancies.
Exactly, 2%. And the statistics are not lying, because I don't want to talk about the gory stuff, but a lot of women actually don't make it on the other end. I was saying, actually, the whole pregnancy journey is traumatic. And very few women actually make it the other side with celebration. Some journeys end up either mom and baby aren't there, or baby isn't there, or the outcome isn't always fantastic. So we don't like to focus on that, which is fantastic. We shouldn't really, but it's a reality. And I think we don't empower women enough when they're pregnant. We don't talk about it enough. You know what? I have a young girl who's 16, and we started talking about motherhood.
Ooh.
And she said to me, I don't want to be pregnant because I've seen you pregnant and it scares me. Aww. So the trauma begins pretty early. And because we've had a bereavement through the pregnancy journey, it's all clouded with, oh my gosh, being pregnant is quite a sad thing. So we actually take it for granted that the trauma is on the mum alone. It's the whole family, because even when you've got other children in the house, they're watching you, and they can see the mum going through this agony and all these changes and this pain, and it traumatizes them from a very young age, and it leaves an imprint on their little minds. So
that's scaring me, because Esme's heard me gag. And there was one time I was in the toilet downstairs. She came and cuddled me afterwards. She goes, I really don't like it when you go, She doesn't know how to say gag, but she was just like, I just don't like that. And that's the thing. The trauma is not just for mum. It's the whole family. Even the dads experience trauma. They're just taught to be men and butch up, but they're worried about us as well. And I think having more discussions like this and this podcast and more podcasts out there and more information makes the whole journey less of a scary journey. My personal journey, I got pregnant really young. My first child, I was like 21, and I knew nothing of pregnancy. I just, I'm pregnant, let's have a baby. And we didn't know what that meant. And when we went into labor, he had gone through so much trauma as a baby, and we were about to lose him. And my husband and I were like, what? You can actually die from this? God.
We nobody ever told us that this could be, not a very good outcome. And I remember 2 days before he was born, or maybe the week before he was born, one of my aunts who was a midwife said to me, you do realize your child is quite large for your body. It's unlikely that you'll have it as a natural birth. And I was like, what? And that's the first time I'd even got that nugget in my head, because the gynae never talked to me about it, and the consultant, they just thought, we'll just focus, you try your best to push. So I think that also didn't help. By the time I went in to have baby, my body was probably already shook up a bit because of that comment. I don't think she meant it in a negative way, trying to alert me, but it wasn't enough information to alert me. So I think people that are in the medical field or family that has experience, when you're alerting someone, give them all the details. Don't just go, oh my gosh, you're pregnant. Oh my gosh. You know, and then you just get
and don't say it in a negative way. Just say we could have complications, however we are trained and the staff can do XYZ.
Absolutely. And this is the outcome, these are the options you have. And I think had I had that discussion, maybe the outcome would have been different for me. So I had an emergency C-section, lost a lot of blood. I didn't get to see my son for the first 3 days of his life because I was in ICU, he was in ICU, and I had to learn to walk. I needed a physiotherapist to come and teach me to walk again because I don't know what they did, but I was so weak. I didn't walk from the day after C-section, and because I didn't walk for a couple of days, they had to get someone to help me do the exercises. And then they put me in a wheelchair to go to the nursery to go and meet my son.
Oh my god.
3 days later. So I walk into this nursery and there's baby cribs everywhere. I'm like thinking, which one's mine? And because Jerry, the dad, my husband, he'd been there. So he'd obviously been upstairs to see baby, bottle feed the baby, change baby, come down, see mum. So you could tell the trauma was on him too. But he had to look positive.
How did you manage the hormones when you were in ICU?
You don't even know about hormones. What are you talking about? You had a baby.
But you know what it's when you have a baby, you're loco. Like all you think is.
No, I just didn't want to be negative because. The stories were being, you're so lucky you made it. I'm like, okay. So, exactly. So you'd be thinking, should I mention I'm a bit worried? Clearly not, because here I'm thinking, will I walk again? Will the stitches dry? Will I be able to breastfeed? You have so many questions but no one to ask. And people are coming with flowers and balloons. Oh, it's a boy. He's beautiful. And you don't want to, be the wet blanket and all of it. Because you'll be like, okay, it must be a good thing that I've had this baby. And how will I appear if I'm looking worried? So you just bottle it in. And I remember going into the nursery and he was like almost 4 kilos. I don't know what that is in stone. He was huge. My son was big. It's quite a big boy.
Yeah, that's a big boy,
And I just remember looking at him thinking, what? That's my baby. He's the biggest child in here. So that was the first thing that came to mind.
4 kilos he's coming up to the size of a 1 month old. I only know that because both my kids, like Eli was 3.95.
Imagine. And this is like 3 days into it. And I'm thinking, so instead of thinking I just thought he's so huge. That's the first thing that came to my mind. How is this huge baby mine? He was a big boy, and he was beautiful. But all that went away. And then I remember the nurse saying, "Do you want to hold him?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I've got to do that." And then I picked him up, and I was like, "So what do I do with him?" And then my uncle had come in from America because I just lost my granddad. So the family was going through mourning. And people throwing names at me, like, "Oh, give him your granddad's name." I'm like, "No, I want to name my child." So there's that side of the family as well, and you're not even allowed to speak because you don't have a voice. And weirdly, I didn't realize what that had done to me at that tender age. And like you're saying, how do you deal with the hormones? I didn't know what that was. I didn't know that I had a shift in who I was. Because I had to go back to uni, finish uni because I was in my second year. And at that point, all my friends were, calling me names. She's had a baby, oh my gosh.
The shame, the stigma.
Her life's going nowhere. She's going to...
If only people knew the damage they do.
In the comments, I lost so many friends. I lost the little network I had. I think I only kept like a handful. And they're still my friends to this day. So shout out to Yench, Gina, Dr. Mzime. Thank you. You don't know what those few days did to my life. Ike as well. I had a few friends that stuck by me. The rest of them, we used to party together and have fun. And they're like, just
like, no,
like, we don't want to know. You got this thing. You're a mum now. So I was ashamed of having a baby, and so I was scared to also love my baby because I was like, who am I? Am I still me? Am I still who I am? My career is never going to happen. Am I just now this woman who just has a baby? And will the baby even know who I am? And that's why between my first and my second, there's a 7-year gap.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I was processing all those things, but people didn't realize. They're like, oh, you have such a lovely gap. I'm like, yeah. But actually, it was the trauma. It's the trauma that made me wait. And
how did you heal from that?
It was hard. I was angry with life. Like, why did I have a child very early? And I used to think maybe if I hadn't had him, I would have had a different life. Because my parents would say, you had a child. Most of my family would be like, you had a child really early. Your life could have been different. So now you're looking at this beautiful
you're thinking,
gift,
what if?
And you've got so many what ifs.
Yeah.
And poor little thing, you probably felt it. You know, you're torn between being a mom and being yourself and still trying to function. And weirdly, my husband had probably had the same feelings, because I said to him, should we have more kids? Like, we're not having any more children. We're done. And that, again, his trauma from that experience.
And whatever comments he's getting, and then trying to be supportive to you at the same time. Yeah.
And then we had our second. That was the best pregnancy, I must say. That's the only child we've had with no complication. She was born through C-section, but it was planned. The pregnancy was obviously unwell. Yeah. But I loved having her, because I walked into theatre with my makeup on, my big girl hoops on, my nails done, you know, I have my bangs done. I'm like, I'm gonna have a baby. I felt more in control, because I'd come here now and I'd made a new network of friends, mums as well. So having other mums does help, because they'll be like, I have more kids. Like, okay, might not be such a bad thing. We had the whole hoo-ha for baby shower and all of that.
You okay?
It worked really well. So the trauma is there, and as I'm older now, I reflect and I think all that shaped who I am as a woman today and how I interact. And I'm more sympathetic now with other mums, because you can never know what a person's going through. So when someone says they're pregnant, if you have nothing to say, just keep quiet. Yeah. Don't say the wrong thing, because that lasts in their head. It sticks with them.
And you'd never know for how long.
And you don't know what you've done to this amazing person making a human being. Yeah. And it's just an off-the-cuff comment, and you're thinking, I'm just going to say it. Don't. Because it really... I think when you're pregnant, you're a magnet. You just seem to draw everything in. It sticks. You're like, I remember the
hormones,
vividly.
you remember absolutely.
Your senses are heightened so much. Just like how your smell, your taste buds, your emotions. So is your memory, I think. Because I remember stuff as if it's happening right now. Yeah. And I remember people's voices. Yeah. So yeah, trauma is real, and tragedy hit twice. The first pregnancy was hard, had an emergency, but my son lived. My second son didn't make it, and
so sorry.
Thank you. And I think that journey was a different experience, because you think, I knew this was going to happen. I told the healthcare, help me, I'm not well. And I was told, you're such an old mum. Your body's not used to this anymore. You've had a 10-year gap now. So, you know, some of these things are normal. And you're thinking,
are they though?
Are they? Surely I shouldn't feel this way. And you'd be like, but I'm in pain. I remember during Zach, his name is Zachary, during Zach's pregnancy, going to the physiotherapy and getting crutches to walk in, because I couldn't even lift my own weight walking with my legs. Wow. I was in that much pain, and I couldn't sleep. I'd sit up in the bed and just sit up and prop myself with pillows. Yeah. And I remember in these crutches in the car park, and my sister-in-law phoned me, and I did a video call. I was like, oh, hi. And she went, oh my gosh, you're on crutches now. You're such a drama queen.
Again with these comments.
The attention you love.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm actually not well. Yeah. And I remember I was so unwell. I said to my husband, let me leave this country and just go somewhere where it's going to be different. This is not working. So I went to see my sister in South Africa, and I went there for my birthday and the pregnancy, and I thought it's going to be a good experience. Yeah. But again, family thought I was just being a crybaby, like, oh, he's just seeking so much attention. And you comments like, why are you having a child this old? You're almost 40. Why are you pregnant? And you're like, okay, I didn't realize there was an age limit. Yeah.
It's because people see that you've gone through it before and you've not had the complications that you were having this time round. Yeah. So they just think, and people don't know that there's actually trauma and complications that happen in pregnancy, but nobody talks about it. People only talk about the perfect pregnancies.
And they're not many. They're not that many. And the weird thing is, I remember the day I went on maternity for Zach. I went into the office that day. Hey, chicken. Hey, you alright? The day I went in to just sign off work and just say my goodbyes.
Yeah. I
remember the pain was so sharp, like a bolt went through me.
Yeah.
And I stopped in my track and I thought, hang on a minute. Hey, Natty. And I thought, hang on a minute. This is not right. So I went to lie in the staff room on the settee.
Yeah.
So they had a settee in the staff room. I went to lie down during lunch break. I thought, I'll just take a little break. And one of the ladies, I forgot her name, she walked in, she goes, oh my gosh, are you okay? And because you have to be strong, you've been told, get on with it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'll just take a break.
Yeah.
I remember my auntie called and she's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm lying down, just talk to me.
Yeah.
Because I feel a bit funny.
Yeah.
Just keep me talking, engaged. So we carried on talking for about an hour on the phone. I got up and there was a bathroom upstairs at this office. And then the staff bathrooms were downstairs.
Yeah.
And I was working upstairs. So going up and down the stairs was painful. Remember, I was on crutches at some point. I didn't want to bring them to the office. I thought, okay, this is going to be too much. Oh my gosh, she's on crutches. Because I got the comment when I said I was pregnant, what, you're so old, like, So I went in and I said, is there a toilet up here? Because I knew the management and the toilet upstairs. And they're like, it's only for management. So I remember going downstairs and going into the cubicle and thinking, I'm in so much pain.
This is not right.
So yeah, I just remember having a sharp pain and going to the bathroom and thinking, I could have just gone to the bathroom upstairs. One of my colleagues, Kay, she knew I wasn't well because she'd been watching me all day. She goes, if you need anything, just let me know.
Yeah.
So should I call Jerry? And I said, I've called him. So he was at home. I was like, you might need to come and pick me up. And he was like, okay. Like, just come. I'll leave my car. We'll go home together.
Yeah.
And then Kay was like, should I call an ambulance? And I was like, no, I'll be fine. And then I thought the drive from my house to the office was like an hour 30. It's like,
wow.
You just think, okay, I'm just going to man up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm almost done. And then I was like, shake it off and just crack on with it. But in hindsight, something was already happening inside me. But I'd been told, just man up. This is just the normal pregnancy pangs. And I remember it was a very hot summer that year. It was so hot, record hot. I remember saying to the midwife the week of the event happening, I really just want to have the baby now. I don't think I can carry it to term. And the comment she gave me was, if we listen to every woman that said that, would be inundated. There are women whose husbands go off with the army for service and on duty, and they even ask to have babies before their husbands go to work, and we say no for those kind of women. So for your case, it's not good enough to say you're in pain and that it's too hard, that you don't feel like you can carry.
What did that make you feel like, having someone speak to you in that manner?
I felt really small because I thought, this is my midwife. And I'd had many midwives, and this had been the one who had been with me longest. And I thought, maybe she knows what she's talking about. Maybe I am just being a sissy. And I remember on and off in the pregnancy, going to the GP and calling. They'll be like, call tomorrow or come. I'm like, but I'm in pain. And it was just really hard to get the support with the primary health care. And I think for mums who are in pain, you know your body better. And
no one knows your body better than you do.
And I think for you to be told, get on with it, is a very wrong thing. Because one, these are people in power, like this is their profession. So you think, okay, maybe I am just being a bit funny. And it was really not a great journey. The whole thing was bad. I think it actually got to a point where my family was also thinking, girl, you just, I was like, I'm in pain. Like, I cannot explain what it is, but this is not feeling normal.
And you've had kids before.
I've had kids before.
And I've not felt this before.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm not making
felt
it up.
This pain. This is different. I can't explain why it's there, but it's there, and it's to do with my pregnancy, clearly. And I just want to have this baby out because something is not right. Something is not working.
How far along were you at this point? Because you were stopping work at this point. So what, 8 months? I was about almost 9 months. I stopped within like 3 weeks of having him. So I kind of worked right to the end because I wasn't working much anyway because of on and off sickness. And I started feeling unwell, I think, from when I was in the start of the second trimester.
That's when the madness was just everywhere. It wasn't the sickness. It was when your body just seizes, when you feel like you're getting these sharp pins and needles. And they said to me, oh, it's probably because your baby's so big and we should check you for, maybe you get gestational diabetes,
preeclampsia, the whole lot.
And I was like, because people of colour, that's always what happens. It's like, but I've never had it. I don't think it's that. They never tested for it.
Did they not?
No. They never. I never got tested for anything. And I was like, but this... And I remember one of the doctors was a locum doctor. She was an African doctor. And I thought, here's a woman... She's of colour. She's probably going to hear me. She literally dismissed me. She goes, well, she's the one who said to me, because you've not been pregnant for 10 years, your body is just adjusting. I'm thinking, okay, she's a doctor. She's of my ethnic background.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just making up a big fuss over nothing. And lo and behold, that very week when my midwife told me, we're not having this baby early for your reason, they're not good enough reasons, is the week he passed. And... it's taken a long time to deal with that trauma, because you think, hang on, the trauma, like I said before, is not just me, it's the whole family. Because from there we couldn't even drive through Milton Keynes Hospital. My daughter would just start crying because it happened there, so we'd find a different route home. And my son just went into another state of just acting out his own way.
Because he's older, he knows exactly what's going on.
And the nights I bled out and baby kind of confirmed he's gone, he's the person I called, because my husband was downstairs working and he was in the next bedroom. I remember just calling him a couple of times and he ran into my room and I was just bled out. He's the one who cleaned my linen. This young boy. I'm only remembering it much later. I was thinking, I remember there was blood everywhere because my husband was panicking. He called the ambulance. My wife is pregnant. She's had a bleed. She's been unwell. The ambulance is saying, oh, have you done this? And it's like, I'm driving. They're like, oh, we're not nearby. Just drive for yourself. It's like, and we're just all confused. And this little boy, well, he was not little. He was about, 18 at the time?
He's still very young.
He's still very young.
Very young.
He's listening to this chaos and I'm crying. I'm going, my baby. Because I could just tell by then something's horribly wrong. My baby, he packed up and just cleaned up. By the time I got home, there was no trace of that. Because my husband stayed with me in hospital for the time that we were there for 4 days. We got back home and he sorted out. And my daughter, she was quite young. She was about 10. She shut herself in a room. She could hear everything. She told me much later. She goes, Mum, that night I heard you calling and crying. But I was so stunned with shock and trauma. I felt helpless. I just froze in my room.
Because she's a
child.
There's nothing she can do. She doesn't even understand what's going on.
The weird thing is, we went through a phase where she was acting out as when she was getting into her teens. And I was like, what's wrong with you? You know what she said to me? She goes, I blame myself for Zach's death. Because I heard you call out first. Had I responded first, I could have saved my brother. So from the age of 10, this little child, till she was 14, had been carrying this burden and guilt of nothing she had anything to do with.
You didn't know?
I didn't know. I'm thinking, you're very weird in your teens, aren't you? Why are you lashing out?
Why are you doing this?
She was being horrible at school. She'd been at this school for a while. She's a lovely girl.
I know she's the most maternal person on the planet.
And I was like, she confided me. She goes, Mum, I feel so guilty. I was like, about what? She goes, Zach died because of me. I was like, what have you done? She goes, yeah, I heard you call out that night.
I got tissues because I know I was going to cry. I'm so sorry. Oh, it hurts my heart because she's perfect. She should never feel that way.
I'm done with the crying now. I'm about empowering other moms now.
I said I'm hormonal, so stuff like this.
Go for it. And I just say to her, look, your brother had died before that. That was just my body telling me something's gone wrong. So there's nothing you could have ever done. That's how she managed to deal with that.
Yeah, because your kids love you so much, and they're like they feel responsible for you. And no offense to children are very selfish in that way. Yeah. Like everything evolves around them. Yeah. So their mother, you are theirs. So if anything goes wrong, it's their fault.
Yeah. So I said to her, little girl, You were perfect, because the last checkup we had with the midwife, where we had this discussion, she was in the room, because she used to go with me for checkups. It was during summer holidays. She used to record his heartbeats, like when the midwife, she's like, I want to record so I'll make a little clip for him on his first birthday, and then I'll play him his journey of. She used to come with me to all his scans. She used to come with me to his checkups, and that last checkup, she came with me. That last heartbeat.
So she had a bond.
She had it on her phone.
Yeah.
And the trauma is, it cuts across many spheres. And I think as mums, we don't realise that pregnancy is not just you carrying the baby.
Yeah.
It's the whole house is pregnant.
Yeah.
They're all in it. The change in diet, the change in mood. They feel it. The little people feel it.
They do.
But the good thing is, we actually had to move house. That's why we left Milton Keynes, because of that trauma. We couldn't live in this town anymore, city, because of the experience we'd had. And I tried to follow it up, but you know how it is. The NHS will tell you it wasn't their fault, it was someone else's fault. Bring all the evidence, and my maternity notes disappeared.
This is what baffles me to this very date. Considering everything is digital, this didn't happen that long ago.
There's no this morning, funny enough, I went to the GP and asked for my records for my immunizations. Yeah. There's nothing from Milton Keynes. It's just a bleep.
It's just blank.
That's just blank. I was like, Milton Keynes, I've done it again. I mean, I'm sure they're great now.
Yeah.
Not to scare anyone having a baby.
It's fine. You can have a baby in Milton Keynes.
It's just journeys are different, and we left Milton Keynes and had to move out of county
because of the trauma.
So trauma does do a lot to women and families in motherhood. I didn't just have a change in career, because I had to leave that office. Change in career, change in where I lived, removed my children from the schools that they were in. Where we are is much nicer, and each journey is different, each pregnancy is different. And luckily, this time, the team I was not trusting of anything to do with NHS. I was not trusting at all.
I would get second, third opinions on everything.
And the weird thing is, the team in Kettering, they're much backward compared to Milton Keynes Hospital. They're not as advanced as big a hospital. But the team, my gosh, the moment I said to them, I lost my last baby. They didn't want to know.
And it wasn't even, it was a baby. It was Zach. It wasn't, it wasn't
they were like,
first trimester.
Yeah, they were like, okay, things are done differently. The whole plan. Do you know, I don't remember Matilda's pregnancy, because the trauma came back. It was like a big trance, like, hang on a minute, how am I in this? Because you're happy, oh my gosh, I'm having a baby. Then you think, what have I done? It's going to happen again. So every night you'd wake up in cold sweat thinking, I'm going to lose this baby. I'm going to lose this baby. So my whole pregnancy was checking, did the baby
constantly
kick? So I didn't do anything. The settee I used to sit on had a big dent by the time baby came. I used to wake up in the morning and sit down just to listen to baby. It was just that. The trauma made me that person. So my midwives would come home for checkups. And I wouldn't even leave to go to the kitchen. Just toilet, sit there and feel my baby. So yeah, the team were better, and they helped me realize that I had trauma. So
you didn't even know.
No, it's the first time of my 4 pregnancies, in the 4th pregnancy, in my 40s, that I'd been told, you've experienced trauma in pregnancy. And I was like, what do you mean of it? I've been pregnant. Yes, my first baby was a bit difficult and I lost Zach. But what do you mean I've had trauma? They sat me down. They're like, that's not normal. This is not a normal journey. We'll support you. You're not in the right space mentally. What you're doing now, sitting down, scared. No, you didn't even know I was pregnant. Nobody knew. Nobody knew I was pregnant.
Nobody knew.
I was scared to even say it, because I thought, I'm not jinxing it.
I was like, she's not pregnant. Yeah.
I couldn't tell anyone. I think only mum knew. Yeah. And I was like, just pray with me. I just want you to pray for me. And I locked myself. The whole pregnancy I was in lockdown,
which is not great for your mental health, is
I was driving myself up the wall, because every day all I would think is, look at the calendar. This is the time that in Zach's pregnancy I felt that. Have I felt it yet? So I had a tick box of bad things that should be happening but not happening. So does it mean this one's not? You just go through that. So it's only when the midwife said to me, hang on, what did you just say? I said, I've been checking to make sure this one is kicking and that the pains. Then she said to me, I'm going to refer you now. I said, what? She goes, you don't realize you're dealing with a lot. This is not normal.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, because what you've had is trauma. You've had a pregnancy journey that was not just difficult. You've then lost your baby. And before you had previous trauma in your pregnancy, you'd never been, well, you never told it for other 2 pregnancies. And I was like, no one's ever told me. They're like, yeah, you're a high risk woman. Not just your health and your age, but what's happened to you up there in your mind.
Oh my gosh, because you've got post-traumatic.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
But you don't know. When you hear of it being talked about, you think, oh, it must be those weak moms that you see. Those non-career.
And it's literally another stigma that's so untrue. Yeah. There is no such thing as a weak mum. But then this is what we're told.
I never thought I would be a mum who needed support, because I was a career woman, confident, powerful, in every way. I was like, what? They're like, you need support. And it only dawned on me that, oh my gosh, I had managed to have 3 children with no support on my own strength and gumption. And it had worn out by the 4th pregnancy. It had gone out because I was cooked. I'm telling you, I was crazy. Certified. And what I love about it was my family. I said the trauma is everyone. When we announced to the children that we're pregnant, you could see their faces, the elation and the sadness at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, mom. So the whole pregnancy, I was literally, everybody was checking on me. They'd come, you could tell the kids were checking on me. I'm like, what are you doing? They come and watch TV with me. I'm like, you've never watched that show. They're like, oh,
it makes sense now because mum was cooking for you. Yeah. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. Why is she cooking all the time for one person?
Yeah, because like,
it makes sense. Yeah,
everybody was just on me, like, oh yeah, and I'm like, okay, you guys are in this with me, aren't you? You know, do you want anything? My husband used to go to the shop every day in the morning, like clockwork. You'd make me coffee, you'd make me a fruit bowl. Everybody was just so hands on.
Yeah,
and that's the trauma. We all had it in different ways. Yeah, and God bless friends and family. The ones that always say negative things will never go away, will they?
Yeah.
But they didn't know I was pregnant. So when I had baby, the same negative people, guess what they did? They were lashing out at me. How dare you have a child and not tell us? Exactly. I had that. I was like, whoa, I did not tell you. You need to know, Darren, what I did. Okay, take out pen and paper. So on Tuesday night, that's how I managed that. I was like, how rude.
Can't you just say congratulations?
I actually had a sister not talk to me for months after my baby was born. After Tito was born, for months. She was so offended. How dare you have it? I was like, seriously, girl, you're well.
If only you knew.
I wasn't even having a party. The whole pregnancy was a shadow of myself. And I'm so glad I had the support. And I want to say to mums out there, it's not wrong to look for help and get support and still have a career. I mean, I actually ended up going to a mother and baby unit. That is being put away, literally, for your own safety, because I was in a very dark space. A very dark space, but it was the right thing to do for that time. And I've had my child, I've had my baby. She's amazing. She's a perfect.
Well, you can hear her and
very happy person, and we're so lucky to have her. And then I've come back. I've got a different outlook to life now. I'm bossing up at Jumbo. I'm doing my thing in the community. I'm so on fire right now. And I'm like, trauma, sit down, take a 2-step back, because this woman is dealing motherhood and career and social life at the peak. And nothing's gonna hold a woman down.
And you've managed to get there because you actually got help.
Absolutely.
And it's so hard just to take that step or even admit that I need help.
I'll tell you a funny story. During the time I was having support, one of the social workers came to the house. I think she's called a child, people that help you with child. I forgot their names. But she clearly wasn't memorable for a reason. She came to the house. She's I think she was of a Malawian origin. But an African lady. She drove into the driveway and rang the doorbell. Jay went to the door. She came into the hall. She went, "Oh my gosh, is this your house?" And then she sat down. She was asked to come and check up on me. And you know what she said? She goes, how can you be having any trauma or any challenges with your mental health when you live in a house like this? Do you know how many people in this country cannot afford this lifestyle? She went on for an hour, for a whole hour,
just telling you that
telling me
you shouldn't be,
how ungrateful I was to be having, help. And she goes, it always amazes me how people of such privilege are always the ones who cry a lot. Do you know what I did?
What?
I kept my mouth the whole time she spoke to herself. My husband and I just sat there. And she went on and on and on. And this was like in the evening. She came afterwards. She'd actually just come to say, I'll come and book an appointment. And then come. Health visitor, she's called. Yeah. That's the word. Useless. That person, not everybody else. Exclamation and disclaimer.
Yeah, I've got stories about health visitors.
Oh,
but
God,
yeah.
what are they for? She'd just come in, like, on her way from work. Like, it was around 7 at night.
Yes.
Just to say, I've been given your file, so I'll come and have a proper meeting and we'll have a checkup. Did she go? She left by like 9, an hour and a bit later, lecturing us about how ungrateful we are, and how my husband was failing to put me in line. Like,
excuse
do you
me?
It went. She's like, so you cannot manage this woman? Like, have you tried praying? And we just sat there thinking, whoa, is this happening? Like, in this country at this time in 2021. Somebody in the health profession actually got a job, and this is how they speak.
And how many people has she said that to? If you take back to when you had your son, and someone said something like that to you, that could tip someone over the edge.
Same attitude.
And you just don't know.
Same attitude. And I was thinking, okay. The moment she left the house, that very evening, I called my perinatal support team. I was like, who sent this woman? Why was she even here?
Yeah.
I'm going to make a complaint. And I was like, never again do I want to see her.
Yeah.
It was
well done for advocating for yourself.
I was like, I don't want to see her.
Yeah.
She's like, do you realize that what you're doing, they can take your children away? They'll say you're not fit to even have children. You're exposing yourself to this system here. The moment you admit you need help as a black woman, they'll just take your children. Even this one when it's born, it'll be taken. I was like, whoa, this is a lot.
But this is what I struggle with. This is what scares me a lot, because why does it matter that you're a black woman? Why should you have to suffer in silence out of the fear of you losing your children because you are in pain and you're asking for help? Surely, if you ask for help, they give you help. The worst thing that could possibly ever happen, which again, we don't even know if it's going to happen, that will be prevented. And in this case, it has been prevented because you asked for help. Kudos. And you got that help.
Kudos to the team that worked with me, because none of them are of my colour, which is sad, because I would have wanted people of my own background to advocate for me. The one person who was on that group is the one person who tried to bring everything down. By the time she came into the chain, I was quite far gone. I think it was near a delivery that you get to see a health visitor, isn't it? I was so my confidence was better. Yeah. Had she come in earlier in the chain, I would have completely lost it. But luckily, the team I had fantastic people. I had Medline, I had Carolyn, I had my consultant. She was just amazing. They were just a group of women that didn't talk to me like I was nothing. They would sit down and be like, how do you want to have your baby? And the day I went into delivery, all of them came from the student nurses, student midwives, everybody from the perinatal, from the whole team was just there. The room was packed, like it was like a party.
They were like, this is our baby. We are having this baby
and
together.
It was such a celebration. And the trauma hadn't quite gone. It was underlying, but they helped me work
through it. Yeah,
it was a journey, because you don't just get you're gone. It's still a process, and they knew it was a process. And they'd said to me, because we had baby early, that was part of the birth plan. Because babies come early, she may or may not cry. So they knew that the lack of a cry or a delayed cry could trigger me. Yeah. So they were all there bating their breath. And she cried, she wailed. She wailed.
She's like, I'm here.
Yay! Never has a room been so happy to hear a baby cry. And I'd asked for just skin to skin, close contact for the first 24 hours. That was in my notes. I didn't want anyone to take my baby from me.
Yeah.
No clothes. She was a naked baby for a good day. Yeah. So the hospital bought her clothes. I didn't buy anything because I was scared to jinx things. For Zach, I had everything. Like I said, I'm gonna buy everything. I bought all his things, from nappies to crib and pushchairs. Everything was there. So for Tida, I thought, I'm not doing that again in case that was what caused it. You know, you start to think of things like that, and you think, I don't want to do things too hurriedly. So she didn't even have clothes. So the day she was born, the whole team had bought her clothes. So her clothes were from people, and it was beautiful. But if you don't ask for help, you don't get it. Yeah. And it's very important that as a mother, you know your body, and even when you're not feeling like cooking, for example, like mum used to cook for me. Yeah. Just say it. Yeah. It's not a crime. Even if you don't feel like having a shower. Yeah. It's okay, girl. You're not gonna stick up the world with just a couple of days of no shower. If you don't have the energy, because I used to have energy bundles for myself. One bundle a day. It was either for making the bed or having a shower. Yeah. So the day the bed was made, I wasn't gonna have a shower. So I would wake up and like,
this is all you're getting today.
This I got from the one little bundle I've got of energy. How am I sparing it today? How am I using it today? It was shower, making the bed. Shower, making the bed. Yeah. And there were days, because Jerry would be like, I'll make the bed. I was like, no, it's something I've told myself. Yeah. It's part of my coping mechanism. Yeah. I've done something rather than just sat there all day. Yeah. And I think we need to support mums. When you see a mum 100%. Who's pregnant and she's wearing mismatched trainers and her pants back to front,
and her hair's not combed,
do not be judgmental. It's a lot. You don't know her journey. Yeah. You don't know where she's come from. And I think as a community we need to do more. Not just black mums, as mums, period. Yeah. Because there's this thing that black mums, white mums, yes, I know the statistics say more women of colour are more likely to die during. Yeah.
I think it's 5 times more.
5 times more than the standard. But it's the whole journey.
It's not easy for anyone.
Of who you are. Yeah. Social class, education, weight, age. It's just being a mom. It's such an amazing journey. But I think it could be made easier by the community being a bit more caring. Yeah. And less judgmental.
And I think mums are or the journey of motherhood or the journey of pregnancy is so underrated because people just assume it's the norm. There's billions of people on the planet, so surely
it should be just natural.
It's just natural. It's just, click your fingers and that's it. But if you actually break it down, you are sat down for that 9 months, you grow a heart, you grow livers, you grow lungs, you grow all the bones, intestines, like the whole lot.
And a personality.
And literally, the things that science cannot replicate, we do as women. Yeah. And it is something that if you sit your mind and try to actually comprehend, it's a miracle every single time someone comes into the world. Yeah. And I feel like mothers are the unsung, unrecognized superheroes just for that purpose, because every single human being on this planet had to come through a woman. I'm not saying dads don't play a part, they play their part, but the woman's role in bringing a child is a physical significant sacrifice that
it's a life and death.
It's literally 50-50. It's either you make it or you don't. And unfortunately, it's downplayed. Yeah. And I just, again, commend every single woman. It's not something that I understood until I became a mother. And until probably understood it more with my second pregnancy. Because Esme's pregnancy, it was hard, but I had pregnancy acne and migraines that then faded, so it wasn't terrible. Her birth, different story, but the pregnancy journey itself wasn't bad. Eli's pregnancy, being hospitalized going into hospital all the
In and
time, IV drips because
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
fainting, I can't eat, I'm losing weight, but then I'm growing a baby. Then the mental challenges that came with that sort of transpired, not just about me, but my family, my work, friendships.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, I was like, oh my gosh, this in itself is traumatic.
Yeah.
But we've had this conversation before that I didn't realize, very similar to you, I didn't realize that Esme's birth was traumatic until 2 years later, and we were just having a conversation with lots of other different women, and then people tell me, Ru, how you gave birth to Esme is not normal. That's not what birth should be like. Because I was the woman who, when Esme's labour was 2 days, I went into labour, keep getting checked, they kept sending me home. But the midwife, one of the midwives who admitted me on the second day, she was like, I can see your contractions and the way your tummy looks, because they, you know, the seasoned midwives, so like it looks like you're literally about to give birth, because they're lasting. They were lasting like 40 seconds. And she's like, they shouldn't be lasting this long. You're only 4 centimeters. What's going on? She was like, you know what? I'm not sending you home. I'm going to admit you. Got admitted, but then the shift changed, and then she left. I'd not slept. They gave me pethidine and said, we need you to just rest, because you know it might be a while longer. Let's just see how we get on. But so I was on the ward. Pethidine knocked me out. Best thing they could have given me at that time, because I was just tired. However, I then didn't have any pain relief or a plan.
There was nothing
after the pethidine, even though they had my notes that said gas and air and everything. No one ever. I don't even know why we bother having them if you're not going to read them. So on the beds in the ward, there was a couple of women in there. My bed was the only one that didn't have the gas and air attached. So I'm sat there. I woke up, I think at this point I woke up about 3 a.m. round about there. And you know when you're now in active labour and you've been knocked out and you wake up through a contraction? Because I've the build up, I've skipped it because I've been asleep. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Again, first time pregnancy. And I remember watching things and people are like, oh yeah, you shouldn't scream, because the women that scream, you're obviously not in that much pain because you've got energy to scream. So I'm there like this.
Oh, bless.
Help me. And I'm like, so I'm not screaming because I'm like, no, I can't scream. Poor Alex is there. And I was like, Alex, go tell them that I need help. Because I'm not making a fuss, because I can't. But I'm like the pain was so much, I'm physically shaking. Didn't get help. And it was 4 hours later that I was like, I can't bear this anymore. And I'm now angry at Alex. I'm like, are you actually going to get help or not?
Because he doesn't know anything.
He doesn't know either. And first time parents, like, we don't know what we're doing. So I crawled on my hands and knees to the midwife desk, because I physically couldn't walk at this point. I'm in that much pain. Physically can't walk. Day 2 of labour. Walked over.
And you must be exhausted as well.
I can't even imagine to tell you how tired I was. I got to the front of the desk and they were doing shift change. So now a different team.
Good old shift change. We love
different team.
Change.
Little old
and they don't
lady.
Even really hand over, really, do they?
She came over. She was like, "What is going on?" And then I'm crying at this point. I was like, "Please, even if it's paracetamol." I didn't even have paracetamol. I was like, even if it's just give me anything. I don't care. Just give me something. She got a wheelchair, called a consultant, and then they started checking my notes. And the consultant's like, why is she still here? It's been 2 days, and I was 2 weeks late. It's been 2 days. Why is she on the ward? Wheeled me. Oh, she came with a wheelchair, came with a tank of gas in it. She was like,
conveniently.
She was like, bite this.
And go.
I was just like,
eat this.
And then they wheeled me into a private room at this point. Then I ended up getting one-on-one care. So this is 7 o'clock in the morning.
Jeez.
Esme still didn't come out until 11:57 p.m.
Goodness me.
That day. So being monitored. And they were like, oh, what pain relief do you want? And I went, give me epidural. I can't do this anymore. Bless Alex. Alex like, she doesn't want epidural. It's in her notes. She doesn't want epidural. And I went, at this point,
just in case you make a mistake.
I don't care.
Give me anything, everything you got.
Give me the strongest thing you have, and I know the strongest
Give
thing
me
you have
morphine
is
even.
give me everything. And then even through that, towards the end of the day, to break my waters, consultant came and broke my waters, and they were like, baby's pooped, she's 2 weeks late, we don't even know
The condition
of the baby now. And she literally gave an hour. She said, if this baby's not out in the next hour, I think I was 6 centimeters at that point, and this is late afternoon. Bear in mind I was 4 centimeters at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it was just very, very slow. They came in and they said, if she's not out in an hour, prep her for C-section. I'm not risking this baby having sepsis. She was fuming because she read my notes, and she literally screamed. You know when they've got the station outside the thing, she's like, why have we even got to this stage? I'm not having this baby have sepsis or die under my watch. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, if she's screaming at you lot outside and you guys have just left me in here, yes, I had a midwife with me, how serious is this?
And you're panicking
what is
now.
Going on? But I'm so tired. This is now Thursday. I went into labour Tuesday. And I'm just like, I don't care. Then mum being mum, you know how dramatic my mum is. My mum got kicked out the room because she was like, my child, yada 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 yada.
Oh, bless her.
And then I got wheeled into, then they came in, this is the funny bit, oh, we need your consent for a C-section. I was like, I don't think we have a choice, because that lady just bollocked all of you lot, and I feel like she's bollocking me as well because I'm the one in this situation. So I'm just gonna sign whatever you want me to sign. But then when we were going, because then they stopped I couldn't pump myself up anymore on the epidural.
It ran out.
No, it didn't run out because they were prepping me for C-section. They have to stop it and then top me up with the max one when I go into theatre. So then I started feeling, I was like, I really need poo, guys. I really, really need poo. But they're wheeling me into theatre.
And this is baby
and
coming.
This is Esme coming. But I still had some level of epidural. And they were like, no, don't worry. When the minute you get in, we'll do, and the pain will go away. They're now just thinking, this is C-section. Just, she's in pain. She's been in pain all day, let's just pump her in. They're not actually listening to what I'm saying. I'm like, I really need a poo. Can I poo before
and that's just
I have my C-section?
For babies coming.
And luckily, this consultant, his name was Alex, probably remember it because he shares the same name as my husband. And Alex he was in the, right, he came into the theatre. He was actually supposed to be in there. He goes, just before you cut, I kept hearing her saying she needs a poo. Can you just check?
Thank goodness you said something.
And this is when the whole team, it's like 14 people in there. They were like, right, mummy, we're ready. The scalpel, little blade ready to cut. And they're like, okay, let's just check. Lift Esme's crowning. They were like, oh my gosh, yeah, quickly abort the C-section because of she's gone through the birth canal, because I can't feel a thing because they've max epidural. So from here, I don't even know what's going on.
You're numb.
But my body's trying to push her out. And you know your body will naturally try to give birth.
Oh, goodness.
And they're like, oh yeah, we need to stop this because we can't pull the baby back up the birth canal because it's a one-way system. They're like, right, so now the anaesthetist is trying to reverse the epidural. Goodness. Then they're like, we need you to push, we need you to do this, we need to do all of this. And then I went into, she was born in C-section. We had forceps. We had the little toilet plunger, and ended up with a episiotomy.
Oh goodness.
Which then meant, and Alex says it to me because I don't remember any of this, there was just blood everywhere. So they were like, Mum, we need to save Mum's life. That's what they said to him. So they gave him Esme and like, go. We need to save Mum's life now. Alex is thinking, what's going on?
I've just lost my wife and
what's going on? Is just free.
It's like
Then they took me to recovery. So they didn't take me to the baby. They took me to, I woke up in recovery and I again woke up in pain.
Similar journey, because I think rewind that to 2002 and I had Takunda. A similar journey because he had mecomia and they were now saying we're going to emergency section to save mum. And they gave my husband the choice, what would you want us to do, save mum or the baby? He actually said, I just want my wife back. As he was signing and they're wheeling me back, just bring her back, because we didn't know what condition baby was going to be in. He's like, don't do anything, if baby's gone, we'll deal with that, but let her come back. It's crazy that that's trauma that's placed on Alex. That he has to make a choice. He then has to make a choice. All of this. And it was absolutely crazy because we then
I woke up in recovery. I don't know where my baby is, but the pain I was in, and it wasn't the child. Like, I know now that I've had Eli, that pain was not normal pain because we'd done the forceps. Alex has now told me that when he was watching them try to get her out, he was like, they were holding and squeezing the baby so hard that was shaking, which means they're pulling my pelvis to try and get the baby out because they can't get the baby out. And Esme was 3.8 kilos, so she wasn't a small baby. And they're trying to get, my body's not helping, everything is not working.
Lord.
And I remember I couldn't walk. I was thinking, is this what's supposed to happen? Why can't I move? It was this whole section.
It was just gone.
Then I had obviously the episiotomy. They were like, oh, she had a hemorrhage, so lost so much blood. I'm like, what on earth happened? So I'm just thinking, oh, okay, fine. This is what it is. This is what
pregnancy does. So having a baby does. You lose blood. You just start to kind of.
Alex said, we're not having any more kids.
Yeah.
Afterwards, he was like, obviously we've had kids afterwards, but we had Esme, like Eli, 4 years later. That's because we were just like,
you have a gap.
We're not like, having any more children.
You're doing that again. You're like, yeah. Because that's the trauma I was saying. It's across the whole family.
And I had no clue that, number one, I shouldn't have been screaming for help. I shouldn't have been asking for pain relief that way. I shouldn't have been left for 2 days with everything that was going on. Yeah. Then the psychological trauma that I've had to heal from, to then have another child, heal with Alex and all of that kind of stuff. Again, things that were just not spoken about. And I only started healing after I'd spoken to a couple of people and they're telling me their birth stories. I was like, hang on a minute, mine didn't look like that.
Do you know what? It's really funny because it's the Mother Network again that helps you highlight these things. And I think we need to do more of that. And this is why I love this podcast, that people are going to have somewhere to tune into and then know, actually, you know what?
Maybe I need to
talk about
this. Maybe I need to get some help from somewhere.
Yeah.
And just going on that note, because like you said earlier, that pregnancy is not just about you. You've had 2 older children that experienced the trauma with you.
Yeah.
What have you done as a parent to help them with their journey to heal?
To be honest, we've kind of found our way because there's no manual there. All the support that was there was for mum.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. The perinatal team are for mums, but not for the children in the house. So there's more to be done, clearly. But what I've done is I've made sure I communicate with my children. Whenever I'm in pain, I explain what the pain is so they don't think the worst of any cringe I have.
Yeah.
And just get them to be part of the journey. I think dialogue helps.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, mommy's not well, but everything is fine. I'm just going to be going through this because this is what's happening. Because they're human.
Yeah.
Because what I think traditionally we've been brought up with is children are over there.
Yeah.
And you're over there. They don't have to know that detail. But it doesn't help their stress and their trauma. So talking about things has definitely helped my kids. And I think we're stronger for it as a family.
Yeah.
And I also want to just say, for the mums that are pregnant like yourself, it's a fantastic opportunity. But there's a whole cohort of mums that can't even get pregnant. And that's trauma on its own. So the levels of trauma as a woman... Someone said to me, do you think losing Zach was more painful because he was a person and you have a name and you know him than someone who lost a baby at 2 weeks or 6 weeks? I was like, how do you even compare? We're both mums.
Yeah.
Losing a child is the same. Just because she doesn't have a name for her baby or you didn't see the pregnancy grow, it doesn't mean
but the minute you find out you're pregnant, psychologically the attachment is there. That's it.
So I think we just need to be less dismissive. So any woman who's going through trauma, because people go through miscarriages, they go through all sorts of things. It's not just you can't define someone's trauma. Someone's trauma is their trauma.
Yeah.
Let them deal with it in their way. Yeah. So including children and our husbands and our wider family.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's I know. Right, gather yourself.
Back in the room.
Because back in the room. Every mum that comes onto the sofa asks the next mum a question. Yeah. And I hope this question sort of lightens the mood a little bit. I can't have any. I'm having ginger tea, so I'm not sick.
Chin chin. There you go. I'll have it on for you.
So the last mum who was on the sofa left a question for you. It's a very light-hearted question, and it's a funny question. And her question was, can you share your funniest or worst poop catastrophe that you've ever had?
It's all just come through. Oh my gosh. So how I find out I'm pregnant is I have serious constipation, like constipation from hell.
Yeah.
First pregnancy, I did not know this.
Yes.
So I remember being a 21-year-old, you're pretty, you don't poop really, you know. You're too pretty for that. And I went to the toilet and I left this massive poop. It wouldn't go. And I had to call Jay. I was like, I need you to come in here because we were house sharing with friends. So they all knew I was in the toilet for a long time. So I was like, Jerry, come. He's like, what's going on? I was like, come in. He's like, what? I was like, he's like, what the hell, girl? And we had to fish it out because it wouldn't go. So that was so bad. And our friend's like, you've been in the toilet for a long time.
What you two been doing?
We're like, oh, So for me, that is the funniest.
What did you do with it?
Oh, I shan't say further than that. Just know we didn't embarrass ourselves in a house share situation. It wouldn't go. We tried everything. We were there for like almost an hour. Like, this is looking bad. Let's just fish it out. So we did what we had to do. So that's the funniest thing that my husband and I have ever had to do with our pregnancy poops. So from then on, we know better. When we go toileting when we're pregnant, we're ready for it, buckets and all.
I was not expecting you to say.
You did ask. You did ask.
Oh,
that is
thank you so much for that question, because it's literally what we needed to lighten the...
It's teamwork. You make a baby together.
You share it.
You share the poops.
We're gonna do it all together.
All together.
Now.
Hold my hand. Hold my hand. I'm dying here. You push. I push. Yeah.
So, what question would you have for the next mom to come
Well,
along?
following that is gonna be hard, but I'll try. So this is more an intimate question.
Yeah.
So the next mom. So from having a baby, when they tell you don't do anything for 6 weeks?
Yeah.
When did you actually go back into the groove? Huh? You know what I mean? Moms, start confessing your dirty linen. Let's hear what you women are doing out there, because I don't think nobody sticks with that medical 6 weeks.
Well,
look at your face. You're like, guilt.
with Esme, again, I had an episiotomy.
So you had to.
No. I was like, Alex, just check. Can you still see the stitches? Because they're the ones that dissolve. And this is like 2 weeks later. This is 2 weeks later. I'm like, just check if they're gone. Just check.
Just try something.
Let's see if they're gone, and let's just see.
Oh, women.
And then when the health visitor came, they're like, oh, because you had an episiotomy, just make sure you don't do anything. And there's me and Alex going,
yeah, of course not.
Yeah, sure. We're not
savage like that.
We're not animals.
What do you think we are? We're responsible adults. We can wait.
This time it was like we met yesterday and this is the first time.
Like, shit, do you think we did something?
But it's not always that way, because with Eli, I was not in the mood.
That's the thing, because you used to, she's pregnant. You're like, hang on a minute, you're pregnant. You've just
had a baby. Yeah.
What happened to 6 weeks?
So 2 different experiences.
Again.
One, literally checking are the stitches gone, so we can.
Is it safe?
We
can try something.
Yeah, we can do something. We can rub.
Something, please.
Something. And then the second one, I was like, don't touch me.
Go away. Go away. I had to ask that question because I've always
that's
wondered.
a good one.
I've always wondered.
That's a good one.
I'd like to know. What are women doing?
It's not just serious stuff. Let's talk about the fun stuff too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. As we close off, and I know, the story that you shared and your trauma, all I can say is thank you so much for giving all of us an insight to your story, an insight to how you've managed to heal from that. And I love the fact that you're using your voice and all the platforms that you've been on to educate and support and help other mothers through that. I can only literally just say thank you so much. And this is not the last time you'll be sat on my sofa.
I'd love to come back.
And we're going to be doing more and more of stuff like this. Do you know what? we're gonna have an episode with you where we talk about the fun stuff.
Oh yeah, the giggles.
The giggles.
As you should. Life is fun, and I think don't be too hung up on the negativity. There's
Yeah.
enough of that going on. You know what I mean? Because I've been told, why did you talk about it on ITV? One cousin, I saw you on TV talking about your shame. I was like, yeah, right. Your shame on mine. Deal with it.
Thank you. Is it my shame or is it yours?
Yeah, deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. It happened. Life goes on. Hey,
Yeah.
so
And I'm on the other side. What you should be celebrating is the fact that I'm on the other side.
You know, this is what help looks like. This
Yeah.
is what dealing with trauma looks like. You could be head of retail for a bank. You know, you could be bossing it. You could be doing anything. So, I mean, it's not been easy.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I'm coming out the other side. It's still a journey even up to now. There are days I wake up and I miss Zach every single breath.
Yeah.
But then you're like, you know what? I am in a better space than I was a few days ago and a month ago and a year ago. And you grow from it. So whatever trauma you've had, just embrace it.
Yeah.
And it's your journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's it for this week. But
You're
thank
welcome.
you.